In our first story, the first batch of Ghanaian evacuated from Ukraine have arrived down in Ghana. The government says the 17 individuals, mostly students who have arrived, are part of many more to come. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration explains that Ghana is amongst the first African countries to evacuate its citizens from Ukraine. Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Kweku Amperchum Sapong, who was at the arrival terminal to welcome them, said 500 more Ghanaians have moved into safety and will be flown home later this week.
Welcome you, and we thank the Almighty God that He has been with you and see you through and brought you home. And in the next couple of minutes or hours, you reconcile and re-engage with your families. We have to thank your leaders who has worked with our officials at the various missions to make it possible for you to get here today. And the government is determined to continue to make sure that your colleagues who are still in transit to be evacuated will eventually be evacuated. Now, there is one important thing that we need to score. Information coming in indicates that Ghana is the first African country to have been able to evacuate some of their compatriots and some of their students. So at least, if not for anything at all, the government of Nana Akufo-Addo has scored the first. After this short engagement with you, and at about 10 o'clock, the Minister for Foreign Affairs will be meeting the parents of students who have been caught up in this unfortunate situation in Ukraine. Ghana on the side is doing its best to try to encourage Russia to stop the attack and the atrocities that they are meting out on the citizens of Ukraine. And we also want to go on record to thank the International Migration Organization for the support that they are giving. And we also want us all to remember our compatriots who have so far not been able to be evacuated. As at this morning, we understand there are about 500 of our compatriots who have managed to cross from Ukraine to the other neighboring countries, especially Poland, Romania, Hungary, Moldova, Slovakia, and just a couple of minutes ago, we understand some of your compatriots are Sumi. Hopefully, will be able to cross over to Russian territory itself. The government has laid plans to evacuate every student or every Ghanaian who is prepared and ready to come home. We have liaised very well with Qatar Airways and Turkish Airlines, and they have agreed that any Ghanaian who has crossed to any of these countries where they do fly will be flown home within the next couple of days. It is very important that we all do remember them in our prayers, that the good Lord will deliver them safely into a safe shelter and eventually back home to Ghana.
One of the students thanked the government for the efforts made so far.
To be evacuated from Sumis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But I want to first of all thank the Almighty God, also thank the government of Ghana, thank the various ambassadors, thank the ministry, and also reassure parents that their children will be back home. Siblings should be calm, friends should be calm. The government is doing its possible best to make us all come back home. For the meantime, we want to say thank you and we appreciate whatever has been done for us.
We'll go live to the conference center where the Foreign Affairs Minister is addressing the students.
On the challenges, when I made my statement, I did say that we are working with NUCS. NUCS has been in touch with my deputy minister, members of NUGS. So if there are issues, we are available to work together. Let's not forget that in Ukraine itself, we do not have an embassy. Many countries around the world don't have embassies in Ukraine. We are fortunate to have a very proactive honorary consul in the person of Dr. Kiche, who is doing his best. He's doing his best under very, very difficult circumstances of a country that is under siege, a country that is in war, with our people caught in there. And therefore, we need, like I said, that we need to be working together. If you have issues, please let us know. And it is for that reason that we have called this dialogue, because out of this dialogue are coming issues that we need to address, that we need to pay attention to, because we are here. Our missions are in other countries, and most Ghanaian missions are we don't have a lot of people there. Ghanaian associations and churches are helping. And so I think that we all should appreciate the difficulties within which we are working, and government's commitment to making sure that at the end of the day we find solutions. So the young man from NUGS, yes, there may be difficulties, but you are part of the solution that we are using. We are working together. And I think that when there are difficulties, you are here. Let us know. You came to our office. We had meetings. And so when there are any challenges, quickly let us know so that we can address these challenges together. Because on the ground, you are probably throwing your arms around, but on the ground, it is difficult for us here and for them there. And it's difficult, even more difficult for our students, because they are in a foreign land and in a war situation. So let's not make it seem like nobody is doing anything. We all need to work together to bring this thing to a fruitful conclusion.
Foreign Affairs Minister there. Now let's do other stories, because 4 teacher unions in Ghana have boycotted the ongoing National Labour Conference spearheaded by government in the Eastern region. According to the unions, the conference does not seek to address the basic concerns of the Ghanaian worker. Addressing the media in a press conference, President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRA, Angel Kabanu, lamented the worsening economic conditions in the country and said government should have rather created a platform for better conditions of service and not organize conferences.
The moment we got the letter, we indicated on our various platforms, labor platforms, that we are not going to attend the program, because the reactions that were coming from the grassroots were not reactions for labor conference, were reactions for us to go and negotiate salaries and to change the current, the status quo. Members were given examples of fuel prices going up. They were given example of the depreciation in the cedi, appreciation of the dollar. They were given example of the dire economic situation. So they didn't feel that labor conference was going to address those needs. So we indicated to our colleagues earlier that we were not going to participate in the labor conference, especially when we saw that there was going to be an MOU signed. And the MOU will be binding you to obey the tenets of the MOU. We don't think that is the best.
So, for clarity's sake, you have boycotted.
Yes.
You were not there at the opening ceremony?
No.
And you are not going to participate in any form?
No.
So some are also raising concerns that this perhaps a platform that you could have used to accentuate some of these challenges.
The nature of the platform was not to negotiate incomes. The nature of the platform is not to negotiate emoluments. The platform was supposed to go and review the economic situation in Ghana and see how labor was going to contribute in uplifting the economy. That is a total, I see that more or less like an academic work than work to increase the emolument of workers.
Would you consider that to be a waste of time?
Well, I wouldn't use the expression waste of time, but I would say that it does not reflect the expectation of the worker today.
Mm-hmm. So now you have not gone there. Does that mean that any decision that we taken will not bind your union?
I don't even see how decisions at a labor conference can bind anybody. Yes, I think it will be a storehouse of information for government to improve upon its administration.
So now let's look at the condition of services. You have had so many challenges with government so far as your condition of service is concerned. Are there improvements, or government is still where it is with you?
Our conditions of service have not improved because every day we are dwindling in the real value of our incomes. Most prices in this country are calculated or indexed in the dollar. As you and I speak, the CD-dollar exchange is around 7.5. Last year, around this time, it was around 5.8. So there is about a 27% reduction in the value of our currency. If you have taken a mortgage, then it tells you where you are. Just on Saturday, the prices of transportation fares were increased by 15%. And those who drive their private cars, the price of fuel is almost 8 cedis.
Now, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, predicts that from 1st March today, fuel prices will increase. COPEC predictions are as follows. Now, petrol around 8.125 Ghana cedis per litre, and that's to increase by about 4.6%. And then diesel around 8.255 Ghana cedis per litre, to increase about 3.4%. Now, with an average for the two to hover around 8.190 Ghana cedis per litre, and it's changed by 3.43%. Now, for LPG, it's predicted to sell around 9.163 Ghana cedis per kg, to be increased by about 2.5%. Now, Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of COPEC, and we had a conversation earlier this morning.
What you have now is a very wobbly currency. What rate you got yesterday, you will be lucky to get it the next day. So the cedi has depreciated quite badly over the period. Clearly, people are really struggling to get by. At old, pump prices, things are getting really heated for people. And if we continue to sit unconcerned and allow these increases to come in, week out, eventually it will get to a point where a lot of people would simply not be able to afford to live. That would probably be quite dire. And we think that authorities have been given enough solutions. We recall writing to the Finance Ministry prior to the 2022 budget reading and presentation the need to ensure that these escalations at the pumps is contained. How do you contain it? Part of the revenue you are getting as an oil-producing country, you should use some to offset the increases at the BDC level in order that the BDCs do not go to import and simply pass on the increases that they are also recording on the international market. The solutions are well known, well documented. Unfortunately, authorities seem to have just paid a deaf ear and a blind eye to all of this, and that brings us to where we are.
The hike in transport fares across the country has been met with mixed reactions from both commuters and transport operators. According to some commuters in the Techima municipality, the increase in fares would burden their finances. Joy News' Anas Sabit was at the Techima VIP bus terminal and came through with the following report.
Fuel prices at the pumps has seen sharp increases over the past few months, and this, according to commuters and drivers here at the VIP terminal in the Techima municipality, is having a negative toll on their economic activities in general. This morning, we are here at the VIP terminal where we understand there's been some 15 cedis increase in its fares from Techiman to Accra. Initially, the fares used to be 75 cedis. Today, it is 90 cedis. We are speaking with the management of this terminal to have their take on why the sharp increase in the transport fares here.
And to moon is it our dorsal. And he or say, Yatum, and my mind, as soon who say, a Juman yesterday, and mine, but what I say. Because it's a fool. I was so high. First, a young to me and me, second one to me, third one to the sense to you. This is a fool as also, and a kind of a crying and out to Abano. Yes, can be up and to fool. But what must have make us. It is a Eba. And the 96 in the air said that.
We are also engaging some commuters who feel this sharp hike in transport fares will have a toll on their life in general.
Well, for the effect is huge, and the ripple effect is just there, multiple. Because once you increase the fuel price, it's going to affect the prices of goods and services. Like as I'm standing here, I'm going back to Accra. So if let's assuming I didn't know about the increment, then I come to the station with my 75 Ghana cedis to pick a car. I get here, they tell me they've increased it to 90 cedis. How am I going to get that additional 15 cedis if I only have the transport money in my pocket?
Some of them say this new increase will definitely have a negative impact on their trading activities, as most of the goods they sell here is being brought in from Accra.
Because first me call Accra in and out 75 in and out 1.5 to 1.5 no normal na me fa no e na me de kakra to so se ebeboa and they say my bedroom no our masana to fair no normal are like in and out 1.5 say be do 1.8 it's eba sa na e de kwa tumatie ebeba me kono me bani.
This week, beginning our Ghana month, there is a series of stories themed around lesser-known Ghanaian language. The Ahanta language, spoken in the western region, is one of the languages identified as one at risk of extinction, as many are unable to write or speak it. Through songs, a group is trying to keep the languages in the minds and on the lips of people, especially those within the area. In the first of our series of stories celebrating Ghana Month, Joy News' Justice Bedu traveled to Takoradi to meet the people behind the choir.
This choir is trying to keep a language that is on the brink of death alive. The Apua Youth Choir, founded by young men and women in this community just on the outskirts of Takoradi. The song they are rehearsing in the Ahanta language means God is the only one we know and He is all we have.
Growing up in the locality, seeing my people or the grown-ups speaking Ahanta, it was great. Our children are speaking English more now than it was yesterday.
My name is Felix Kofiele. I am the Executive Director of the Apua Youth Choir.
Felix and his friends write new songs themselves and also translate songs from other languages into Ahanta for the choristers to learn.
Because people don't really know that Takoradi is Ahanta, we intend not to use the deepest version of Ahanta, but use what we normally call the Ahanta Fante. So that is the first trick, to try to use the Ahanta Fante language, one, to try to form something which people in Takoradi or its environs can easily relate to. That will gradually bring the interest.
We were not taught Ahanta when we were kids. So, especially when you get the language, you want to turn them up into the language itself. It's quite difficult.
Portia Amwa is originally not Ahanta, but has lived in this community for 29 years. She was part of the people who started this choir and through rehearsals like this, now speaks and understands the language.
Though we are in a Hunter lab, but we don't learn the Hunter. We learn Fancy. So I don't know even the alphabet of the, I didn't know then. But when I came to AYC, they've been teaching us because of the song.
It's a Sunday, and like every other Sunday, Apua Youth Choir performs at one church or the other, serenading worshippers in the language of their birth. The Ahanta language, pronounced originally as Ayenda, is spoken by the Ahanta people who occupy the land in between the Proa and the Ankobra rivers, including Sekendi Takoradi, the western regional capital. They are bordered by the Nzima, Wasa, and Fanti people to the west, north, and east, respectively.
We can't preach nor become a minister, but through the music that we sing, we can sell our language far. You can love a song, not necessarily understanding the words in them, but the rhythm and the composition itself will make you love to sing that song. I remember songs like Midday, we do sing those songs in church, but we don't understand. So if we are able to sing with Ahanta, we can penetrate the world with the language, and people will love it. Especially our own people will love that. Hey, people are speaking or singing in my own language. Then I don't have to hide.
Like many of Ghana's lesser-known languages, Ahanta is not taught in schools. The young men and women behind the choir hope that their little efforts here would help change that. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Abua, in the Western region.
And here in Accra, we're joining you today. I am Omapito Sibiri. Still to come, the Africa Center for Energy Policy is asking students in the country's second cycle and tertiary institutions to show interest in how the country and petroleum and energy sector resources are expended. Daryl Kwal joins us for business. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwal. The Africa Center for Energy Policy is asking students in the country's second cycle and tertiary institutions to show interest in how the country's petroleum and energy sector resources are expended. ASAP wants the students to spearhead the accountability of resources in the energy sector in order to contribute to how the revenues are used. Addressing students at the Cape Coast Technical University, Policy Lead Petroleum and Conventional Energy at ASAP, Kojo Yauche, said they intend to empower more youth to be critical in Ghana's energy space. Richard Konyako has more in this report.
We have done a lot of work around how petroleum resources are being expended, issues around ghost projects, the efficiency of spending where you go, poorly constructed projects where there is no value that is being delivered for the money that is being spent. And a key missing link in all of this is actually active citizenship, where you have a lot of people engaged with the process.
That's Kojo Yauche, Policy Lead, Petroleum and Conventional Energy of ASAP. He explains why there is the need for the organization to build a critical mass who are empowered through access to information on extractive resources and also to strengthen public debate on accountability mechanisms,
to ensure that they are able to monitor and police whatever is happening in the resource sector. Because if you don't have a critical mass of people who government will essentially respond to when they rise up and speak about some of these things, the things will continue to fester and we will not be getting value for the oil revenues that we are getting as a country. So essentially that's why we are here today.
To ASEP, there is a key missing link in holding those entrusted with the management of our resources, and that has led to assembling active citizen voices that would police and monitor the process. Mabel Akwe is the head monitoring, evaluation and learning at ASEP.
It is our hope that through this session, participants will be well equipped with the innovative ways and how to effectively use available data to hold the privileged few to manage prudently our natural resources. At the end of the day, we hope that the vast numbers of the people here, their appetite will be drawn to be interested in resource governance.
The student here at the Cape Coast Technical University would undergo training and also be equipped with the requisite skills and information in order to become part of the critical mass. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyakon, Cape Coast.
Now, Ghanaians are being entreated to embrace clay-molded products to address the prevalent housing deficit in the country. According to Chief Operations Officer of Flexi Clay Ghana, Thelma Isharituri, the usage of clay is cost-effective and durable. Here's more. At the opening of the Flexi Clay Products Ghana Okponglo branch, Chief Operations Officer Thelma Isharituri said clay products have the ability to control relative humidity. According to her, there is the need to invest in clay products, pointing out to the installation, which is done with non-acrylic adhesive that makes the product grip firmly to the wall.
We like to tell people that Flexi Clay is very affordable because if you look at the overtime cost of either painting and or using the towels, with this, it comes with a lifetime warranty. You don't ever need to paint again. So it saves you that overtime cost of painting and of course the labor cost and everything. So basically with this you don't need to paint. It has a waterproof advantage, it has a fireproof advantage. It's a green product, it's free of all volatile organic compounds, it is harmless, it is breathable.
A Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Abdullahi Abanga, said government will consolidate its partnership with the private sector to help address the rising housing deficit.
Definitely we are in the planning stages. The ministry is in the planning stages. We are discussing with the developers. So very soon, at the right time, the president, the ministry, the minister will release the details of the program for all Ghanaians to get the message. It's all supposed to feed into the supply of housing to reduce the housing deficit. We are doing this in partnership with the private sector. The policy of the ministry now is not to go into producing the houses by ourselves, but to rather partner with other developers in the private sector.
Flexi Clay products come in marble, stone, wood, leather, and brick finishing. And there'll be more business news on the marketplace up next. Sports. Stay tuned.
Time now for sports on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Emmanuel the Game Boy Tego says he will retire from boxing if he loses his upcoming fight against Ryan Garcia. Speaking to Joy Sports ahead of the bout slated for April 9, the former IBO lightweight champion said he has no message for Ghanaians if he fails to win.
Nathaniel, you know something about me. When you do not know any more about me. Me know, Omudi omwe papa share boxing no omu na omudi mechi omu fo omwe papa en share boxing no omu na omu kan ma asem negative upa sesi antokwa no amekoko no nipa no ni mo say like mekoko no me na me champion na me na me okay na me na me boom your opponent no ye kun wi abo ubeti say we ni onye din we wo say dey bia say me onye din maku 33 fighters always me prove me wrong enti I don't know the reason why enti dey bia man for doubt to me no. And sometimes nipa no betimi hu say we ntimi mi a wo say o we game ntimi no 80 fans no mo your reality o mo di mechi no mo no mo nim de wo me mu and o mo nim de like betimi a enti sometimes me appreciate me fans ketua no maybe e bia fans no a o mo ye fake no o mo bra crap o mo no mbe ma ye bebo me no Eti me minimum say we are me fans now, we are old fans. I know you minimum one we are fake or mobile be joining because who need option. Uncroft for no yabu obia. Ghana no me pen I am boom. Omu pese I am boom keke. Mo fia mo to ayi mi na ke. Ayi me ne keke. No ja me cause man ayi mi bia ne no ba na fans ni mana. Onyo yi mi. Mi boxing ni mi kema keko. No money anu ka yi mi npa boxing. Ka yi mi npa boxing because imbe no ni mama ke fans eh.
If you're saying that if you lose this bout, you're out. You're not fighting again.
No ni mi ke wa ke ka yi mi inle no ni ma ke fans inle no ni mi ba ma ke family ke nya mi me. Ke nya ndo me. E wo inpa.
That's a big statement to make.
Yeah, because ka yi mi inpa because inle no ni ke yi mi we be no twa ke imbe no ni mi to ma achieve don. E was anima pa mama join ke ife stores, ife apartment few ke mama o mo alo ma amo ke shito ke ni bi ni mana ke fine because I don't think I can sani.
But you know that in boxing is also a case of 3 results. It's a win, a loss, or a draw. So there's a possibility that either of these could happen, and anything can also happen in the ring. And so it's a big statement to make, considering that you still have youthfulness, you're still fit, and you can still fight. So if in your likely instance that you lose this bout, you know, you can still continue. Why would you want to stop?
Because Jay Ryan Garcia Sane.
I see.
What do you mean? You know me expect here alone no me to ma achieve boxing. Me feel like Sane Ryan Garcia stop me again. If I can stop me again, no decision ma take no just anima pa boxing because if I say no ni manima fe. Le Ryan Garcia lenche e choose me shamele aka me njoa me. What do you mean? Me no money no pressure be no. Mini yo ake ma chule ma. Boy me to e ba ma mi na kan chule boy. Ona no money no. Only no ni me promise Ghanaian expect. You will no penny care by your non power boxing because you will buy a champion for a champion. Too much less than any word there left in Chemi position and fine. She mini magic a bear magic. Magic obey ni game mini. Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Say my name again.
Game Boy.
And let's do football now. On Friday, this year's President Cup match between Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko will be happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. The two heavyweights go head-to-head on March 4 in the game in honor of President Akufo-Addo. Chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kuji Fiano, has justified his outfit's decision to settle on the two sworn rivals despite concerns by a number of Ghana Premier League clubs, including Great Olympics.
We are lucky enough that the presidency and Ghana have agreed to use the President's Cup to roll off activities marking the 65th anniversary of Ghana's independence. So if we want to present something worthwhile to the President, we can only present our El Clasico to him.
Yeah, because...
And also draw his mind to the fact that, yes, in as much as we want to build a Black Stars, we need to empower the local league. I kept asking, a budget of 25 million for the Black Stars, AFCON World Cup. I can imagine what $5 million could do for the league. We want to have a chat with our old man. As we watch the game, we will chat. It's like you want to woo a beautiful lady. You invite her to the pub, you sit around. So the old man will be there on Friday. I will have the opportunity to sit. I will plead with him. But as we watch the game, we chat. Old man, there's a need for you to throw the searchlight on the local game. And it's so amazing. When you meet the politicians, they always refer to the Babayaras, the Mfums, the Agrifins, the Abidipeles, the Tony Yawas. These were not players who came from heaven. They were Ghanaian players. And we believe that we can produce a lot more. So Friday, and the exciting thing is that there was this Okujetu report that said Hearts and Kotoko should not play in the evenings. A lot of water has passed under the bridge. We think that we should break that ice.
The last fixture involving these two teams, that was in the Ghana Premier League, ended in a stalemate, but this match must produce a winner. This is how we wrap up sports here on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Ablai. Up next is World News.
And that's how we end Joy News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapita Sividi. Thank you so much for your company and enjoy the rest of your day.